Morning, brothers. Good to see y'all's face, man, as always, bro. Good to see y'all's face as always, man. You know, in order to see God, brothers, all we have to do is look at mankind. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is, like, I can remember when I personally, I'm speaking for myself. I can remember when I first distanced myself from the original belief that I had about heaven and hell. And it was after my son was born, man. And I was thinking about the worst thing that I could even ever do to my son. Right. And I said to myself, man, I could never see myself putting my son in a lake of fire or sending him to some source of damnation for eternity, man. And I said to myself, man, if I couldn't do my son like that, then surely the creator of all things wouldn't do that for me. And it just made me look at everything again, man, and process things and make me just, come to understand, man, that the heaven and hell that I once believed was something completely different, right? And then it made me look at, even looking at some of the inventions we have as men, bro. Like when you look at the automobile, the automobile is really recreated off the human body. You know what I'm saying? So really mankind can only recreate what they know, like what's in our DNA, man. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the game of life, understanding the game of life, man, is no different. Like we have to look at the world and again, look at the world through the lens of our creator. For example, when you look at board games or you look at video games, like they aren't meant to hold you back. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no board game, there's no video game created by man that's meant to hit a dead end and there's no way to come out of it. Like they're all rigged for a man to figure things out and succeed. And I've come to understand, man, that life, is the same way. And it took me a long time, man, because when we go through hard times, when we go through struggles, when we go through trials and tribulations, bro, at times it can seem like, we can say things like, man, life just ain't fair, bro. Or we say things like, well, some people deserve or some people just by nature or by whatever, cause, these people are, they're supposed to have a certain life or certain blessings and certain people aren't. You have to understand, man, the entire game is rigged for everybody to win. It's just a matter of understanding how the game is supposed to be played, man. Understand how the game is supposed to be played, brother. So just real quick this morning, man, I want to talk about four of many rules, to be honest. I want to talk about 4 rules of playing the game that ensure we win. And when I say win, I'm not even talking about win in comparison to somebody else. I'm not talking about win by hitting a certain dollar amount. I'm talking about win by completing any mission you set forth. Like whatever that looks like, bro. Like the game is rigged for us to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to talk about 4 rules this morning, brothers. And the first rule, man, is, and I've said this before, man, but I really want to dig into it again this morning. The first rule of the game is understand that this world is responding to you. Like that's the first thing I believe a man must understand is that this world is responding to us. Meaning, as soon as you wake up in the morning, bro, before your feet even hit the ground, the world is asking you, what do you want me to do? I believe when a man understands that, it begins to change everything. So the things we have to ask ourselves every day, man, is what are we saying to the world? Think about it, man. Think about when you first wake up in the morning. It's like, what are you saying to the world? Because as soon as that alarm clock goes off, the first thing most people are thinking is, first off, I don't want to go to this place where I'm getting ready to go. I don't want to deal with the people I'm getting ready to deal with. I don't want to get up and go in the kitchen and see those bills on the counter. I don't want to hear my wife nagging. I don't want to do XYZ. That's the first thing we're saying when we get up. The first thing most people are doing is complaining when we get up. And you have to understand the world is responding to that. You know what I'm saying? In other words, as soon as you wake up, the world has an ear to you saying, give me instructions. Tell me what to give you back. And I'm 100% sure, man, that the majority of people don't understand that, bro. And I'm going to say this, even people that understand it sometimes forget, because I know sometimes I forget. Because sometimes I'll get up in the morning, man, I might walk around the house for a whole hour thinking about the things that I don't want to be taking place. And then I'll snap out of it. Sometimes it takes me seeing the result of those thoughts coming back before I snap out of it. Sometimes I can roam around the house for a whole hour or two, man. And next thing I know, I'll start seeing that vibe come back to me, and I'll snap out of it. And I'll say, I'm creating this thing, bro. So every man must ask himself, what is it he's telling the world at every moment? And of course, we have the power to speak life and death and everything. Of course, we have power to speak into the ether. But the hardest way that a man speaks to this universe is by his identity. Because your identity is speaking 24 hours a day. That's why I'm always saying, who are you? Where are you going? Like, I know that seems so small, man, but that's controlling your world. That's controlling our world. Our identity is everything, bro. It's literally the most important thing a man needs to be aware of, if nothing else. If don't nobody tell him about the crucifixion, if don't nobody tell him about heaven and hell, if don't nobody tell him nothing, he needs to know that, you know what, whoever I am is what I'm going to experience. Whatever his truth is what he's going to experience. And I guarantee, it's not even a guarantee. It's not even a guaranteed thing. What you're experiencing right now is based on your identity. It's based on your truth. The good, the bad, the ugly, the good times, the bad times is strictly based on you. A man has to understand the power in that, bro. Has to understand the power in that, man. There's absolutely nothing more important than your identity. And when I say identity, when I say there's nothing more important than your identity, you got to be clear. I'm not talking about ego identity. I'm not talking about how the world sees you. That's a whole nother lower vibrating something else. So it's not about how the world sees me. What does the world think of me? That's completely irrelevant. Like we're so far beyond that. When I talk about identity, it's how a man sees himself. Bro, how you see yourself is everything, man. I promise you there's nothing more important on this planet than that. Because a man controls his own life when he understands that. When you understand that what you say you are is what you're going to experience, bro, nobody else has jurisdiction over you. But the thing is, you got to think about this. You got to think about how most people create their identity, man. Most people, I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 70, 80, most people are still basing their identity from stuff they grew up being told. Most people is mom and daddy. Whatever mom and daddy told us we were going to be, it is pretty much what most people still are right now. It's pretty much what most people go to the grave with. They can never step outside of that box. And I'm not saying that box is bad, because it can be both good and bad. But whether it's good and bad, a man still has to be able to step outside of it. Like, we can easily look at, and we've talked about this before, we can easily look at Kanye West. Like, Kanye West, his mother practically built what we see as Kanye right now. You know, when you watch that documentary, man, or you watch the Instagram or YouTube clips where she was sitting in the kitchen talking to him, or she was always pumping high vibration down his throat, she created him, man. He believed everything she said, and he became that. That's a good thing. But you have to understand, on the same energy, it can go both ways. Sometimes your mom, your dad, your uncle, your aunt, the next door neighbor, your preacher, your teacher can say one bad thing about you, man, and screw your whole life up, bro. It don't take but one bad line, man. It don't take but your teacher saying one single thing up under her breath. It don't take but your mom or dad saying one single thing that they might not even meant nothing by. And it scars you. And you call that who, you say that's who you are for the rest of your life, bro. This is common. This is common. It don't take but you going to church one time and the preacher say, well, if you did XYZ, then you ain't worth nothing. You going to hell because you did this one thing 22 years ago. And you stand on that, bro. Your identity is everything. It's everything, bro. I don't think a lot of people understand how impactful. I know a lot of people don't understand how impactful TV and music is. And I'll talk about TV and music. It ain't that I'm anti. Y'all know, I mean, I get entertained just like everybody else sometimes, right? But you have to understand how much that stuff influences your identity. You know what I'm saying? Like think about the music some of us listen to, man. I mean, real talk. If you just listen to the words and understand that we're pumping something in our minds, 10 hours a day telling us what we're doing, how we're supposed to act, what our level of achievement is, how we're going to end up in a certain place, how we're supposed to treat women, how we're supposed to treat everybody else. Bro, that's your identity. You might not think it is. You know what I'm saying? You might can put the suit on and go to work and sit in corporate America and you feel high vibrational, but your truth is something else. I promise you, man. Your truth is something else. You can sit there and watch 25 seasons of Power if you want to and get entertained. But if you're not a man of understanding, that's going to become who you are, man. I promise you it is. I promise you it is, man. Why do you think they pay these people that much money? There's value in that, bro. There, like the whole anything that comes over the waves is all about creating your identity. Go back to Jonestown. Go back to y'all know Jonestown. Jim Jones, the one that drink the Kool-Aid. That was a whole CIA experiment. That whole experiment was about pumping brain waves in people's mind all day, seeing how much it can control them. And after that mission was a success, the whole world changed. Do your homework. TV changed, radio changed, everything changed after that. Because they understood that, hey, you know what? If we can pump something in our mind 24 hours a day, we can create whoever we want to, man. Now you have to understand this world is pretty much this world is pretty much a world full of zombies. This world is pretty much a population of people with God energy, but walking around like zombies. Because they won't identify themselves. Most of us won't identify themselves. We take whatever identity is given on us, bro. So, man, we have to fix this, man. We have to self-identify. And what that means, at least for me, it means for a small period of time, bro, you have to isolate yourself from everything, even if it's for 5 minutes. Isolate yourself from everything and say, you know what? Let me look at every single influence. Let me look at my relationship with every single person, every single place, every single thing I eat, every single thing I consume, every single place I go, and see how it's influencing my identity. And once you eliminate everything, man, sit there and form your own identity. It seems so simple, bro. That seems so simple, but I guarantee you 95% of people on the planet aren't doing that. Refuse to do it. Refuse to do it. Because to do it, first off, you got to understand, you're going to piss a lot of people off. It's going to be some people in your life, man, that say, no, bro, I'm supposed to be in your life. I'm supposed to be there, man. Like, I've been knowing you since day one. Some people going to say, hey, I gave birth to you. I'm supposed to be there. Nobody's immune to getting cut off, bro. I don't care if y'all share the same DNA. I don't care if y'all share the same blood. I don't care if y'all grew up on the same street. Nobody's immune. And it comes down to self-love. And this is one thing we deal with as men, bro. And we talk about this a lot. It's something inside of us. I believe it's because we're men made to protect and take care of the world. I think it's something inside of us. I know it's something inside of us that it's a self-sacrifice. It's something inside of us that just automatically puts everything and everybody above us at times. Everybody else's well-being. But man, it's to the point now where society has taught us to put that on steroids. To the point where a man straight denies himself. Denies his own self-love, denies his own happiness, bro. And we got to swap that. We really have to swap that, man. And I'll be honest, man. If I'm honest with myself, man, I can look at that in stages of my life. I can look at where I slowly started coming out of that. And if I'm honest with myself and honest with y'all brothers, I can easily say that within the last 60 days of my life, I've hit another level of self-love that I didn't even know existed. It comes down to self-love and then creating an identity based on that, man. Once a man does that, bro, he's quarterbacking life now. He's quarterbacking life now, bro. And again, I know it seems so simple, but your identity, that self-love that you have within yourself, it's quarterbacking your whole existence. Because what we do, man, a lot of times we'll deny a portion of ourselves. I'll say it like this. Like a lot of us have our hierarchy wrong. And I know a lot of times it may seem like we have it right. God, purpose, self, family, and everything else. But if you're on a subconscious level, if you're putting anything above that, bro, your life is not going to be in order. It's not going to be in order, man. You know what I'm saying? And when I say isolate yourself and create that new identity, the first thing you have to do, man, is decide what you want to be. Most men don't do that. I'm gonna tell you what most men do. Most men will desire it, like it's in the back of their mind, but they won't put themselves in position to even move in that order. And when I say put themselves in position, not only will they get their hierarchy right, but they won't do the work. It's all about desiring what you want to be, doing the work, and then becoming that. You know what I'm saying? It's all about wanting to be it and then becoming it. And I'm telling you, man, the reason a lot of men don't do that, because we talk about it all the time. The reason a man won't do that, because think about this. When you do that, nothing can stop you. It's not even a roll of the dice. Let me see what's gonna happen. Once a man does that, once a man's identity has been created and he moves in that, there's nothing stopping that, bro. like there's literally nothing that can stop that. So the challenge is not understanding how it works. The challenge is getting to the point where we love ourselves to put ourselves in position to do it. And again, it's a challenge, man. It is a challenge. It is a challenge to create your identity. It is. Think right now. Just pause for a second and say, you know what? Let me look at who I am. In other words, let me look around in my world. Let me look and see what my money is doing. Let me look and see what my health is doing. Let me look and see what my relationships is doing. Let me look at my living situation. Let me look at my happiness. Let me look at my circle of friends. And if you say this is not what I want, and you can say, okay, now I can see where I want to go, what I want life to look like. The only thing stopping you from getting that is changing your identity. And the thing that keeps you from changing your identity, again, is all these things I said. Rubbing people the wrong way, getting rid of the people that don't serve you. Stop going to these places. Like it's simple. Like the game of life is very simple. It's very simple, but the choices and decisions and the actions that take place to win at life, those are the challenge. It's not that we don't know the rules. It's not that we don't know the rules, bro. It's the actions, man. It's the sacrifices. Y'all get what I'm saying? Self-love is a sacrifice, bro. Self-love to create that new identity is a sacrifice, man. I'm gonna tell you this. Most men won't do it. But I can tell you this. Once a man does it, life is gonna give you exactly what you are. I promise you. I put this on my whole life and soul. Life will give you exactly what you say you are, man. It'll give you exactly what you say you are. And we all know this. So the question is, what are you saying that you are, brothers? As soon as your eyes open, what are you saying that you are? Not what you see. Not what you see around you. This is the trick. This is the hack, rather. To base your identity based on that mind as opposed to based on what you see. This is the game of life. When a man understands this, bro, he's hard to handle. That's why so many millions of dollars are coming out the way. TV used to be 8 o'clock in the morning to about 9:30 at night. For y'all old schoolers, y'all remember that. TV used to be at 9 o'clock. It was going 10:30, whatever time it was going black and white. It was going static. It was going rainbow colors and then static. But they said, no, man, it's too dangerous. Like we can't afford for people to know who they are. We can't afford for people to create their own identity. We got to run this thing 24 hours a day. We got to create social media. We got to create something, because if they know who they are, it's over with. The whole world collapses, man. Man, your identity is everything. If we came on the Power Circle call every single Sunday and talked strictly about identity, that would be all we would have to talk about. I promise you. I promise you, man. So look around your world and say, you know what? Let me look at the parts of my life that I don't want there. Let me look at the parts of my life that are hurting me. Look inside yourself, man, and say, let me find a part of myself that's creating that. It's a powerful thing, man. It's the most powerful thing I've ever, came to know in my life. The second rule of life, brothers. Life, and it's kind of a spinoff of the first one. Life is only going to give you what you believe. Life is only going to give you what you believe. This is what I come to understand. And I found this in myself first, bro. Most men, as far as a man coming to his thoughts, man, and saying, hey, this is what I desire. Most men simply don't believe that they deserve the thing they desire. Most men don't believe they deserve it, man. You can hear it in their speech. You can see it in their actions. I saw it in myself. I still see parts of it in myself. When you think of people, when you think of anybody achieving the highest level of success in any sector of life, financial, health, whatever, you name them all, the person at the very top is only there because they believe they should be there. They're willing to stand on, they're willing to do the work of everything it takes to be there. And you might say you believe a thing. We might say we believe a thing. But if our actions, our thoughts, and our works don't match it, we don't believe it. We don't believe it. Like I always say, man, you can lie to your friends, I can lie to mine, but we ain't got to lie to each other. What we say, doing, what we say, doing, what we act on is what we believe. And that's exactly what we get. Think about how simple life is for a second, bro. Think about how simple life is for 5 minutes. Once we create our identity, once our thoughts, our behaviors, and actions are in a certain alignment, nothing can stop that creation from coming to be. How can a man know that and not be experiencing exactly what he wants to live? Think about this, bro. In other words, let's separate ourselves from the planet for 5 minutes. In other words, let's picture ourselves amongst the angels, like I believe the Bible may say. The people that don't, the energies that don't have the ability to come down to earth. Think about us having the ability to see earth, see people on earth, understand the rules of the game, and see the players on the field. And see people that have all this power and are just walking around stagnant in circles trying to say, hey, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out why life ain't doing what it's doing. Think about how that would look from the outside looking in, bro. We would crave an opportunity to go down there and master life. We will crave that opportunity. But now we're here in the game, man, and we just don't follow the rules. Like, man, I'm gonna tell you this. If life is not fun to you, you aren't living it right, bro. If life is not fun, you aren't living it right. If you aren't eager to wake up in the morning, you aren't living right. I promise you not. Because I'm gonna tell you this, and this is the hard thing to swallow. This is a hard thing to even say. But I promise you this. Even when times get rough or a challenge comes or something happens, sometimes, man, I can be sitting there, man, and I'm feeling some kind of way. On the deepest level of me, I'm doing the Carlton dance. On the deepest of levels. Because on the deepest of levels, I'm saying to myself, this is part of the game. Like I know this is a challenge. I know this is a difficult part on Call of Duty. Like I keep having to respawn. But damn it, this is the fun part. Like this is the fun part. Because, man, it's going to be so fun be getting it out the mud. If life isn't doing that, bro, you aren't living right. You aren't living right, man. There's been times in my life, bro, where the bank account was in the red. I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills. I didn't know how I was going to do X, Y, Z. And I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs trying to figure it out. And I'm like, God, I'm going to figure, I'm stressed. On the deepest of levels, man, I'm enjoying the game. I promise you, I'm enjoying the game. Because I say, even if I take this L, it's going to be about me learning something, rebuilding, and doing it again. It's the game. We have to love the game, but in order to love the game, we have to know the rules, man. And I'm telling you, man, life is only going to give you what you believe. So you got to ask yourself, what do you believe? What do you believe you deserve, man? What do you believe you deserve? I'm going to tell you what most of us do. And this is what all of us do at times, and we got to snap out of it. Our belief is primarily based on either our lack or our trauma. And when I say our belief, meaning our actions, our thoughts, our behaviors, is based on, again, what we see around us, whether it's lack or whether it's our trauma. Whether it's and I believe everybody has some. I mean, in 2024, everybody got some form of some kind of issue they're trying to overcome. I believe that's just life. And a lot of our beliefs are based on that. A lot of what we think we deserve is based on that. Your money situation right now is based on what you saw growing up. You saw mama and them putting 5 cents in a jar on top of the refrigerator your whole life. So now that's your truth. Now that's your truth. That's your belief. You might have went from 20,000 to 80,000. If that's your belief, your situation won't change. I promise you it won't. If they gave you an extra $20 an hour, if they gave you an extra $50,000 a year, based on your belief, your life wouldn't change. Yeah, the things in your life may get a little bit shinier, but that bank account, it ain't gonna do nothing different. I promise you it ain't. I put that on everything. I told you when I was making my first job, I was getting $5.25 an hour. I was 15 years old. $5.25 an hour. I fast forwarded to I was making $100,000 plus a year. My bank account looked the exact same. You don't think that's a problem? You don't think that's a problem, bro? You talking about an $80,000, plus $1,000 difference in your life, and your life hasn't changed. Everything is shining. The crib might be a little bigger. The car might be a little faster, but your quality of life is, your savings, your bank account is the exact same. When I understood that, that's what made me pause and understand truth. That's when I really started saying, bro, it's something deeper than this. I said, I got to get down to the base of what my truth is. And that's when I started to understand how powerful a truth was. I said, oh, snap. I look at this world. I look at everything, our relationships, our money, our health. It's not based on what we hear. It's not based on the information we consume. It's not based on going to the gym every day. It's based on that bottom line truth. That's what you're going to experience. So the thing is, man, we have to change our beliefs. And the thing is, we have to release anything that doesn't align with where we want to go. And I say it all the time, man. That's the hardest part. And, releasing anything that doesn't serve us. That's how it's commonly said. And it's said like that so commonly that men don't even do it anymore. It takes cojones, man. I believe that's the hardest part. It's not that we don't know where we want to go. It's not even that we don't know what we need to do. The hardest part is releasing the things that won't allow us to do it. I'm convinced that's the hardest part. I'm convinced. I'm 100% convinced that's the hardest part. Because a part of that is, it's so many moving pieces to that. A part of that, man, is you don't want to hurt people's feelings. You don't want to get over the cravings of your vices. It's so many different things to keep a man from doing that. But you have to do that, bro. Because everybody knows what it takes. But you got to understand, and we all know that, like, going to that new world, people, places, and things can't go. They can't go. And what we do as men, again, it goes down to the self-love. What we do as men is say, you know what? I know what I got to do to get there. But in order to keep everybody happy, I'm just gonna sit here and be a good little boy. I'm just gonna sit here, man, and put everybody above myself. Everything comes down to self-love, bro. Self-love. You got, and one thing when it comes to self-love, man, we have to stop begging people to love us. And when I say that, I'm not even talking about like relationships. I'm talking about everything. We have to stop begging people to love us. Meaning, what I mean by that is, and I always say, if you aren't walking in your singular truth, if you walk in a certain building and you have to be somebody else, what you're saying is, I'm suppressing myself so you can be happy. If I talk a certain way, if I act a certain way, if my demeanor is a certain way, but I got to change it now because I'm in a certain room with somebody else, I'm saying I'm begging you to love me. So I'm going to conform not to piss you off. Because I know you don't love the original me. If I got to overcompensate, if I got to always give, just to try to even the feel, then I'm begging you to love me, man. And what I'm saying right now is this is common. If you got to go to work and be somebody else that you're not, if you got to change the way you talk at work, then you change the way you talk amongst your friends. You're begging somebody to love you, or you're conforming so they can love you. And you can't go in some room and be somebody else and walk outside of that and be the original you, expect the universe to give you something. It won't work. It won't work. Because to manifest anything, it takes both minds being on one accord. You can't be two different people. You can't be two different people. So that self-love, us begging the world to love us for whatever the reason, a lot of that is keeping us from moving forward. And again, it just comes down to us not understanding the game of life, brothers. But that begging people to love you is common. It's common, man. The third rule of life, brothers, and I ain't gonna keep y'all long, man. The third rule of life is understanding this, man, and this is a huge one. The third rule of life is understanding that love is the cheat code. Man, I'm gonna tell you this. That sounds so simple. I'm convinced now. I'm convinced now, man, that this right here, this covers the far majority of people. Like a lot of people, I'll say it like this. A lot of people do love, but a lot of people don't love to the extent we should. A lot of people don't, the far majority of people don't have that divine love. And when I say love, I'm saying the ability to see the world as the creator of the game sees it. To really understand life, man, you have to see this world as the creator of the game sees it. And what I mean by that is, for example, prime example. I know it's a big line in the sand, man. Some people are team iPhone, some people are team Droid. I'm team Droid, of course, man. Don't throw stones at me. But I know most people are one or the other, and they're diehard one or the other. Like for some reason, I just don't like iPhones. One thing I can do, I can respect the culture, I can respect I can respect the brand, but I'm just not an iPhone fan, right? But if I really wanted to understand the iPhone, all I would have to do, man, is start seeing the iPhone as Steve Jobs sees it. If I could just put myself in Steve Jobs' shoes and look at what he was trying to accomplish, whether it's the simplicity, whether it's the function, whether it's the anything, I would say, you know what? Now I understand why people like the iPhone. I can see the iPhone through the eyes of the person who created it. So in order to get the cheat code or to get a full understanding of this life, man, to understand, we have to see the world as God sees the world. And I'm telling you this, the reason why most people will never see that. Most people will never see that, bro. Never see it. The far majority of people will never see that. Is because most people can't put themselves in position to see divine love, to see the world as God sees it. That's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do. Because to do that, that means you have to love every single person on the planet. I'm gonna say it again. That means if you blood, you gotta have diehard love for the Crips. If you Democrat, you gotta have diehard love for the Republicans. If you Christian, you gotta have diehard love for Buddhism, Islam, and everything else. Most people can't do that. If you're white, if you're Asian, if you're black, you got to see every single man on the planet as if he's you. Most people can't do that, bro. Most people think they can do it. They can get love to an extent. But if you get to the point where you can love every single person I'm talking about the man that hates you. I'm talking about the man that hates you. If you can't love the man that hates you, bro, you can never see the world. You can never see the world through the lens of God, bro. I don't care who you are. I don't care what pulpit you preaching from. Because some of the people in the pulpit will sit there and give you a whole sermon and then draw a line in the sand and say, oh, well, the black church does this and the white church does this. I don't see how y'all support this nonsense. I don't see how people support it. You can't draw a line between you and nobody else on the planet. Think about how powerful that is, man. That would completely eliminate all politics, all wars, all prisons would disappear. If you love your brother like you love yourself, the world would be changed overnight. Overnight. That's why people that understand it have a hack. They see the world different. Not only do they see the world different, man, you understand the world. In other words, we all go through struggles, man. We all go through hard times. We all go through being upset. You got to understand, man, when you see the world through the eyes of God, once that pain settles, because all of it is painful. You going through hard times, man, you didn't got laid off or the bill is funny or somebody done ran off with your money. That's a hard pill to swallow. You going through hard times or you being upset over a relationship, that it may burn for a little bit. You're going to be scratching your head like, what in the cornbread hell happened? Like, and pissed off. But once that level of pissosity goes away and you sit there in full understanding and you can see everything, all the hard times through the lens of God, brother, you're going to be grateful for it. It's going to be nuggets of knowledge there, bro. I promise you. It's nuggets of knowledge in every single piece of struggle. I can think back to some hard times, and I share some of these hard times with y'all. Every single piece of struggle I've gone through, man, it was life-changing knowledge in it. Life-changing knowledge. To the point where if I can go back to my teenage years, if I had no struggle, man, my life would probably suck right now. I would probably be comfortable somewhere, living very under a rock somewhere. Without my struggle, man, my life would probably suck because the information that I needed to go forward, I'm talking hard times. I'm talking bad relationships. I'm talking layoffs. I'm talking about every single one of them. At the time it happened, I was like, why, God? But 5 minutes later, I was like, thank you. Let me take this nugget of information and run and create with it now. That fire burns off, man. There's going to be a gold nugget there, man. Prime example, shout out to Brother Joe Curl. Me and Brother Joe Curl had a small battle yesterday, man, in Top Golf, man. Me and Brother Joe pulled up Top Golf. Joe sold me, man. Joe pulled up saying, hey, Soul, man, I ain't swung a club since 1986, man. I don't know what I'm doing. Man, Joe came out the bat, dusting me out. I think first game, Joe beat me like 500 to 50, man. Blew me out. But there was a nugget in there. There was a nugget in there, man. Joe came and gave me a nugget of information to alter my game, man. He said, so if you just change your degree about 2 degrees on your swing and alter this, he said, it's gonna change your life. So messing around and made a comeback 2 out of 3 and gave Joe that dusting back to him, man. So it's nuggets in struggle, man. Like that pain might be there for a minute, but if you sit still for 5 minutes and process it as if, like I always say, man, stop thinking of a God as much and start living our lives as a God. See every single situation through the eyes of God. I promise you, the nuggets of life are there. To be honest, man, I don't believe a man can get the nuggets of life without going there. To be honest, it wouldn't even be fun if we just lived through life skipping through a bed of flowers and getting all these nuggets of information. What would the fun be in that, man? The second part of that, man, the second part of love as the cheat code is, you have to understand this. It frees you from all your enemies. And maybe the enemies ain't the word. Sometimes the word is enemies. All those that are against you, some your enemies, or sometimes just all those that are against seeing you succeed. Whatever you want to call them, adversaries, whatever. It frees you from them. You gotta understand this, man. It's very hard for an enemy of yours to have any kind of control, any kind of defeat over you when you ain't putting nothing but love back out toward them. It deflates them. Man, there are so many people, man, I hear so many rumors about stuff that I've done or I've said that it's insane. And instead of me responding like the old soul would, I respond in love. Because my enemy can't do anything with that. I still have people, man, I don't even want to talk about that, bro. But it defeats your enemy. It deflates them. And when I say it deflates them, you have to understand this. And we said this before. When somebody's going to have control over you, whether it's your enemy, you got to understand it. Anybody that's opposed your mission, anybody that wants to see your downfall, anybody that's out there talking bad about you, anybody out there that's making content about you, you got to understand the only control they can have over you is their emotional tie. It's the only control. It's the sole motive of people doing a certain thing. Going back to us playing with little kids. If there's a little kid in your area and you want to get control of his mind real quick, all you got to do is poke at him real quick. Alter his emotional state. Tick him off real quick. Push him down. Push him around. He's going to start pouting and doing all this stuff. You got him right then. You got him. And of course, it's just playing games, but you got him. Anytime you allow somebody to get control of your emotional state, you done, bro. You done. You cooked. You have no control over your outcome. You can't even create your own world anymore. You done. Your emotional state is everything. And the only way to defeat anybody trying to get control of that is live from a place of universal love. When the Bible says, to love your enemies, it wasn't just for moral reasons. It was for power. You love your enemies, man, because it's your power. Not only is it your power, you gotta understand this, bro. When you love your enemies and all they're doing is sending hate towards you, it puts you in control of that power they're sending now. You know what I'm saying? Now you have a whole bucket of raw energy right now that you can create with. When people talk bad about me, man, I welcome it. Keep sending it. Like you're literally putting zeros in my bank. Keep talking about me. Because now that I'm moving universal love, I'm in alchemist mode. You're in alchemist mode when you live in that place, bro. They can talk all they want. They can say all these things, man. Never fight. I'll call it evil with evil. Fight it with love, man, because it's the most powerful position. It's the most powerful position, man. You give somebody your emotional state, bro, it is a wrap. You forfeited everything. And that can be a challenging thing to do. Cause sometimes we gotta step off the block, man, and check somebody real quick. But even when you check them from a place of love. Because if you don't, man, now you're playing their game with their same ammunition, bro. Love is the cheat code, bro. It's the cheat code. Because that universal love is the way that the creator sees the game. You want to beat the game, you see the world through the eyes of the one that made it. You see the world through the creator that made it, man. You have the ultimate cheat code. But again, you can't see it unless you tap into that highest level of love, man. The third part of that, man, is It allows you to see that we are all one. And that's the part that I understand right now that most people can't get a hold of. And I'm not saying these people are bad people at all. But I understand right now that there are people in high positions, people that put out good messages, people that do great things in life. They still haven't tapped into universal love. And I'm not going to name names, but there are a lot of people, man, that we hold high in certain religious spots, in certain spots that we hold high. And as we should, they do big things. They have a huge impact on the world. But if you're still drawing the line in the sand between you and anybody on this planet, bro, you don't understand it yet. And I'm not sitting there saying like I'm sitting there just telling the truth. You don't understand it yet. Like in a singular truth, man, I said, if you don't understand the difference between a Martin Luther and a Hitler, or a Zimmerman and God damn, I just went blank, man. But y'all understand what I'm saying. If you don't see the difference between somebody on the far left and the far right, you don't understand yet, man. All is one. And that sounds so cliche, but this percent of the population understands that all is one. There are some people, man, that move in high vibrations and still don't understand that all is one. And I'm going to say this, man. I want everybody to hear this, bro. If you're in the power circle, right now, and you can look at any brother in the circle and you hate him because his skin is a certain color, you hate him because his religion is a certain thing, you hate him because he dresses a certain way, or he's from a certain country, or he talks from a different speech, or his culture is a certain way. If there's anybody in the circle that you can look at and you draw a line saying that you're different, you don't belong in the power circle, bro. You're actually messing the vibe up. Because it's all about seeing the world through divine eyes here. That's where our power is. Coming together as one, seeing the world through divine eyes. So if you can look at a brother in here and say, "Oh, this brother is Christian, man, so he ain't really my brother." Or you can look at somebody and say, "Oh, well, they Buddhist. Oh, this brother, he believes there ain't no heaven and hell. Oh, this brother did XYZ." I'm not saying you got to agree with everybody, but man, that universal love allows you to love brothers that you don't even agree with. I'm sure all of us have different agreements. We probably all have disagreements of what God is, what Jesus is, what heaven and earth is, what love is. But that universal love, man, lets you say, you know what? That's still my brother. Even if that brother is hating me because I look a certain way, he's still my brother. Now you have power over that man. You know what I'm saying? You have power over a person that you won't play the same game as them, bro. It's the strongest force known to man. It's the strongest force known to man, bro. It gives you so much enlightenment, so much understanding. Man, it's such a powerful thing, bro. It opens so many doors, opens so many mental chambers. Like a person thinks they can see the world now. Until you can see it as God sees it, you don't even know what this world is about yet. I promise you don't. And the fourth rule of life, man, and I'll say this is my favorite, is taking action toward the unknown, man. This is part of the game of life. Taking action toward the unknown. This is what separates the quote unquote winners from those that sit back and watch the game being played. Not being afraid to go into the darkness. Most men are scared of the dark. Bottom line. Most men don't understand that their reward is in the darkness. That's what a reward is, man. And at some point, every man got to say, you know what? I'm about that life. The Bible says faith without works is dead. And a lot of men can know that. A lot of men can have a full understanding of that and still not move toward what they can't see. In other words, if you can't see the end goal